Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me. Lovely to have you here. Today I'm sharing with you this easel style pocket with hidden journaling space. So I've taken inspiration from a style of card, which is called an easel card, to create this pocket. And if I undo this, I can show you what I mean. So we would have that stuck on three sides on a page. It opens up. And just for a little bit of interest, it can stand up like that. And then we open it up again and we can have hidden journaling space, photographs, or whatever you want to use that space for, even a little pocket. They're really easy to make, very, very versatile. They're great if you want to put maybe a photograph here on the front, and then you have something here, perhaps with the date when the photograph was taken, and then some information about where you were, what happened, etc. So I will show you on a page. So let's just find a page to pop this on. It doesn't matter really, let's just put it here. So we would go into your page. You don't have to have it as a pocket, obviously. It can be a standalone, it could be completely stuck down. You could have it as a side tuck. I thought it would be useful to put a little tie on it just to keep it closed. But yeah, then it would just open. You'd have whatever you want here on the front. It would open and then open up again. And you can do these in any size. You just need a rectangular piece of paper. I've mainly used scraps. So I've got a shorter one here, a slightly wider one, and then an even wider one still. So you could have one that wide, the whole of your page. They're just something a little bit different, and as I said, really easy. So I will show you how to make one. So I did use scrap for mine, so these are a good scrap buster. I have some Elizabeth Craft Design Reminiscence 5, I think, scraps. And this is how it started. So just a scrap of cardstock. And the first thing you need to do is fold it in half. Now, if you've got a really easy measurement, then you can score the half. Because this is a scrap, it was a bit of an awkward size. So I just folded and then I used my bone folder. From there, you need to decide which is going to be your front. And you need to either eyeball it and fold it in half again. Or what I did is just popped it onto my scoreboard. Just kind of guess where I thought the centre was and just scored along there. And this bit here at the front is what makes the pop-up easel bit. You then need something else that will work as a stopper. I would recommend using something a little bit thicker because you need to make a ridge here to stop that piece of card going anywhere. I'm using some of my homemade tickets because I made them on thicker card, and I am actually going to back mine again onto something thick just to give it some more lift. Then I can be sure it's definitely going to stop the front of the pocket from flicking up. So I've just backed that on some spare white card and I'm going to glue it onto the front here. Now it's up to you how far you want to pop that. If you want a kind of wider tent, then you can put it down here. I like mine to be about there. So I'm going to pop some glue onto that. And it's as easy as that. That's it done. So just folding your piece of card in half and then in half again. Pop something at your front to be your stopper, and you've got the base of this pocket. You can then decorate it up however you want. You can change the theme, the colours, depending on what it is you want to do. As I said, I think a really nice way of using one of these would be to pop a photograph here, perhaps of grandchildren or your children. So it would sit on there. And it would sit on the front here, and then it would open up and you can prop it up in your journal, and then you've got all this on the inside as well to do whatever you want with. One thing to remember is whatever you're sticking on the front here needs to be stuck this side of that score line, because you're going to be folding it. You don't want anything stuck here because you won't get the fold. Okay. I've got this piece of scrap here, which again, I think is Elizabeth Craft Designs. And I thought I would pop a belly band onto there, just to give you an idea of possibilities. Okay, and then you can stick whatever you want in there, and that's okay. If it's something that's not stuck down, it's fine to go over the crease because it will just sit there like that. You just need to make sure you're not gluing anything over this bit here. I'm going to leave inside blank for now because I'm just using this as an example. I can always come back and finish this off at a later date. But I do have one planned that I want to pop onto this page here. This is the 6x8 Curator's Meadow collection pack from 49 and Market. I've shown that quite a few times. And this is the piece that I'm using. And I've just cut down here because I thought that would make a really nice tag or bookmark that I can pop into the pocket. Now, because this is not a scrap and it's straight from that paper pack, I know that this is 8 inches, so I can actually either just fold it, or on this occasion I can score. So if I pop this on, and 4 inches is there. And I also know now as well that because this is 4, halfway would be 2. So I'm just checking where 2 is, and it's just there. So that works out just nicely where that butterfly is. But again, if you don't have a scoreboard or you've got funny measurements, fold that in half and then fold it in half again, okay? So there we've got the front of the pocket, and it will sit up like that. I'm going to do a little bit of inking, which I won't do on camera, but I am going to use the pumice stone ink, I think. So I'm all inked around. I've done the inside as well. Obviously, you're going to lose the back, which is unfortunate, especially if you've got a paper that you like, but I suppose that's the way, you know, anytime you're doing something that's folded, that you're wanting to stick down. If you don't want to lose the back, just have it as a floating element inside your journal. Now, for this front bit here, the stopper, this collection does have these laser cut elements, and I'm wondering if I could use something up here, something like this perhaps, to use as my stopper. So I'm going to have a look through. So I think this would be a good choice. It's relatively thick already, although I could back it just to give it a little bit more depth. But that would work nicely on there, I think. And it also, as well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a rectangle. You might have a die cut or something shaped, a sticker or a label or something that you want to use. That would work fine as well. As long as there's enough lift up from the page to stop that from moving, it will work. You might have a big butterfly and you could use the wings, something like that. So lots of different options. I actually ended up backing this twice just to make sure it was nice and thick. And I did forget to mention that another thing you can do is decorate this bit. So the bit that's going to be on display here, you can stamp underneath, you can do some rice paper, you could do some stenciling, all types of things if you don't want just a plain background. The back of your paper might also already be patterned, which, you know, that works to your advantage as well. I have a couple of stamps here. I have this background one from Stampers Anonymous, which is one of my favourite. I use that all the time. I think I might use that just to add some subtle detail just in the background. I think I'm going to ink very, very lightly in pumice stone ink. And I don't want this to be an awful lot. I don't want it to be very heavy. Just a little bit. I'm also going to pop one of my labels down. These are just pre-stamped labels. I have a video on it, I'll link it. So my choice is that one or that one. I think I'll go for that one. As for these bits, I'm actually going to leave them for now. I might want to add something onto there later. I don't know yet, so I'm not going to bother doing them. But we'll get this stuck down. To put this down, place that where you want it, where you're going to want it to sit. And then just lean it up against it. Whatever it is you decide to use. Okay? You've still got all that space then left as well if you're wanting to use that. I'm going to get it stuck down onto the page and then I can decide, you know, if I want anything else on the front, something perhaps that might match with what's over here. Now, before you stick it down, this is where you want to decide if you want to put any type of string. I have sellotaped mine to the back, so if I was to put that on as a pocket, it's really well, the string's really well covered. You've got a nice surface there for whatever's going into the pocket to slide over. And I just tie it at the front. So if you want to do something similar, remember to do that before you pop it down. For this one, I think I might use one of these really nice strings. I was thinking that one would work nice. And I think I might actually, for this one, tie it this way round. And then I'm not blocking the butterfly. So, to get myself some sellotape, I want it to be just where that line is. So, just where that fold is. I'm just going to pop myself a little pencil mark there on the back and kind of get this centered and secure it down with some tape. I would suggest using more than less and also going right to the edge so that you don't risk this pulling out. Then with a bone folder, I like to really burnish that down, particularly at the ends, either side here. Again, so it secures it in. It secures the string in. I'll chop that down in a second. For now, let's just get it out of the way. I've chosen this page because I love the coffee dyeing on it. I did this with a stencil when I was coffee staining, and I just like that pattern against the butterflies. I also thought the theme worked well with the paper here. So now I just need to decide where I want to put it. I think because I've got 3 signatures, I want to go a little bit more this way rather than in the middle. And also I would like to not cover that. So we'll do that. Let's try and get you all in. And I'll pop it about there, I think. So we can do glue down 3 sides. Right, and then this should work. So we should get our easel there. And then we still have our pocket there. I've just cut this down a little bit. I'm not going to make it into a tag shape because I just want it as a bookmark. And like that, just as a really simple bookmark, I'm just going to leave it in there like that. I just think that's so unusual and just something a little bit different, a little bit interactive. And then do whatever you want there. So I wanted to share that idea with you. I watch a lot of card makers, and if you've watched me for a long time, you'll know that I quite often say card making techniques can be easily applied into junk journaling. So I always find it really worth watching card makers. I make cards myself off camera. So yeah, I just wanted to see if I could incorporate it some way into a junk journal. You know what I'm really liking is if you're looking down on this in the camera, the kind of continuation from the leaf to the leaves here on the bookmark. Now looking at it now, I was thinking I could put something here, but looking at it, I honestly don't really think it needs much else. I could do, but I think I'm going to let the paper speak for itself and leave it as that. I mean, I don't have to have anything on there. You wouldn't necessarily need string because you just do that and it closes. Okay, it's not going to pop up into the air. Let's try and find the page again. But it's just whether you want it to lie flat or not. If you pop that up, if you put these on and you decide you don't like them, just take them back off again. So yeah, you don't necessarily need string. Little tip, if you're trying to do a bow and you want your knot to stay tight, put some tweezers on it. And it will just hold it in place for you. I'm just going to take a tiny bit off the end. Don't think it needs much. And there is our easel pocket with hidden journaling space. So a couple of extra things. Number one, if you don't have pattern paper, you can do this with book pages. I would recommend a thicker book page. However, if you don't have a thick book page, there's a couple of things you can do. Firstly, you can just double it up. So stick two together. This one's just been folded in half. This one here is 2 pages stuck together. And then you just fold it in the same way. So you fold in half and then you fold in half again or thereabouts to make your easel. Another thing you can do to help strengthen it is you can fold one of the bottom edges. Fold it up and then pop some glue on. And then that automatically strengthens that edge. After you've folded it, then do your folding in half so that you get your length correct. And that will just help strengthen there where it's going to sit. So just try it out with different papers that you have. See what works. And let me know if you give it a go in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are into colouring or mindfulness or anything like that, I do now have a second channel. It's called Donna Colours. I will link that channel either at the end of this video or in the description box. And you can head over and check that out if you want to. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.